This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. Last week we told you that Nikola was teetering on the brink of bankruptcy, and yesterday it filed for Chapter 11. To raise money to pay off its debts, Nikola is going to try and sell off all of its assets, but it's probably going to come up short. The company has less than $1 billion in assets, but has liabilities between $1 and $10 billion. Many companies use Chapter 11 to reorganize operations and restructure their debt. But if Nikola is going to sell off all of its assets, it sounds like this is the end of the road for the truck maker. A couple of weeks ago, we reported that the next generation Ford F-150 wasn't going to come out until 2028. And now the automaker is telling its suppliers that the program has officially been delayed to at least the middle of that year. Ford's financial earnings have been pretty mediocre lately, and pushing back a big program like that will save the company money in the short term. But it's also a risk. Last year, the Toyota RAV4 outsold the F-150 in the U.S. market, the first time in 47 years that the F-150 wasn't number one. Meanwhile, Rivian, a company that Ford had invested in at one point, says it will report a gross profit for the fourth quarter of last year. And that's despite a parts shortage that crippled its production in the quarter. The turnaround is thanks to selling EV credits, getting lower prices for components and materials, and getting higher prices for its vehicles. No doubt that Volkswagen money is helping too. Wall Street has been waiting for Rivian to post a gross profit, and it could be a key turning point for the company. When GM backed out of that battery plant that LG Energy Solution is building in Lansing, Michigan, everyone wondered what would happen to the plant. Well, Toyota just rode into the rescue. It has agreed to shift a $1.5 billion order from another LG plant in Michigan to the Lansing factory. LG is expected to fully acquire the plant this spring, and production will start soon afterwards. Volkswagen's EV sales have absolutely tanked in China. According to Car News China, it sold just over 4,500 electric vehicles in the country last month, which is down 71% from a year ago. And if you look at individual models, it can get even worse. VW only sold 9 ID.7s, which is down 99.6%. But to only sell 9 models in an entire month, after selling over 2,200 the same month the previous year, we think there has to be something else going on other than Chinese consumers turning away from VW's EVs entirely. It could be clearing out inventory as it gets ready to introduce its next generation of electric vehicles that were developed in China for China.
Making a life full of memories, one road trip at a time. That's what really matters. Bridgestone Weather Peak tires with a 70,000-mile limited warranty.
Looks like Honda and GM are going their separate ways with fuel cells, and Honda just revealed specs for its first independently developed fuel cell module. It produces nearly double the peak output of the jointly developed module, 77 kilowatts versus 150 kilowatts for the new unit. And while peak voltage and weight only see slight improvements, Honda says it's smaller, so volumetric efficiency is up, it costs half as much to produce, and it has twice the durability. Mass production is scheduled to start sometime in 2027. So, to cover that gap between now and 2027, Honda is going to introduce stationary power generators that use the jointly developed fuel cell. Those fuel cells will be combined into units that put out 250 kilowatts, and up to 4 of those units can be connected for a maximum output of 1,000 kilowatts. Honda expects these to be used by factories and office buildings, and production starts next year. Speaking of fuel cells, while hydrogen-powered vehicles can refuel in about the same amount of time as a gas-powered vehicle, I've heard those times can vary widely between stations. That's why this caught our eye. Toyota is testing fuel cell heavy-duty trucks with 2 filling nozzles. It wants to see if it can double the fueling speed to help reduce downtime. But like the super-duper fast EV chargers in China, Toyota says there's only a few stations in Japan that currently offer twin hydrogen fueling nozzles. We're getting more details about why talks over a Honda-Nissan merger ended earlier this month. As we've reported, the main reason is because Nissan rejected Honda's demand that it become a subsidiary of Honda. But now a new report from Japan says it also had to do with Honda demanding that Nissan ditch its e-Power hybrid technology and adopt its system instead. Nissan rejected that too, mainly because it's invested $2 billion to develop its e-Power tech. But as we reported yesterday, the merger between the two automakers isn't completely dead, with Honda saying it would be open to reviving talks if Nissan gets rid of its CEO, Makoto Uchida. China is tightening its grip on its rare earth mineral industry. The country is proposing new regulations that include quotas for mining, smelting, and separating, as well as monitoring and enforcement of rare earths. China already dominates in rare earth production, and the new rules are an effort to tighten its control of the global market. Rare earth materials are essential to make magnets for electric motors that are used in EVs. We've been following what's going on at GAMIC, which is the Global Automotive and Mobility Innovation Challenge. It's like that Shark Tank TV program, but GAMIC is where automotive startups pitch their products to judges who have extensive experience in the auto industry. Yesterday, GAMIC announced the semi-finalists who come from Spain, Israel, Canada, the UK, Germany, Hungary, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, and 5 from the United States. Their inventions include everything from EV charging to robotics to manufacturing, more efficient engine combustion, and a whole lot more. If you'd like to take a peek at what these companies have come up with, we have a link in today's description box and transcript. The Lynk & Co. 900 SUV will be the very first vehicle to feature NVIDIA's new centralized computer called Drive Thor. It's capable of 1,000 TOPS, or trillion operations per second, or in other words, it's 4 times faster than its current system. Drive Thor is meant to control ADAS and hands-free driving features, as well as all the infotainment and displays. Lynk & Co. is part of the Geely Group, and other group brands, including Volvo, will also get Drive Thor in the future. But that brings us to the end of today's show. Thanks for making Autoline a part of your day.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering boost your game. And by Teijin Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility.
There's nothing wrong with heavy metal.
Hey, lighten up.
But with world-class composite material, Teijin Automotive Technologies makes vehicles lighter, safer, and more eco-friendly.
Developing today's vehicles. Issues can happen in an instant. When's the best time to solve a problem? The minute you know you have one. Meet Wireless NeoVi Cloud, your secure, off-the-shelf solution empowering real-time collaboration for quick resolution. With Wireless NeoVi Cloud, your team can prevent issues before they can escalate. Driver communication data and remote diagnostics to analyze and resolve your problems using OTA, allowing your executives oversight throughout the process. Wireless NeoVi Cloud, your vehicle update solution in production and on the road. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.